Peace and blessings. Happy Saturday. Saturday is the day that is ruled by Saturn. And Saturn is currently at the 23rd degree of Aquarius. And the moon is in Gemini. So the sun went into Leo. The sun went into Leo yesterday. And as soon as the sun went into Leo, y'all, I was like, yeah, I just felt, well, let me say this. I pulled the dead ancestors card. Let me just tell y'all the whole story. I pulled the dead ancestors card. I used the Meta deck, and I pulled the dead ancestors card, and I never pull that card. Ever pull that card, okay? And Saturn is opposing Leo. And Saturn is the energy that brings up our karma. And so I was like, okay, I pulled the dead ancestors card. So that means that there's an ancestor with me. Like there's a negative ancestor, like an energy that hasn't been resolved yet. So since the sun went into Leo, I have been in a deep internal, real conversation with my father, who died when I was 13 years old. And because Leo is about our creative self-expression, it's about the ability to really be yourself, to be your authentic self, and to express yourself as you desire. And that was the thing that I witnessed in my father, that he was so angry because he couldn't be who he really wanted to be. He couldn't create his own story and live it in the way that he wanted to. And it's really interesting. It's kind of a peculiar perspective and that download that's coming, because in this earth plane, we're here to do whatever we want. Like that's the code of the earth plane. You can live your dreams, but there are many systems in place which have organized humans, taken our power, and forced us into ways of being and ways of functioning that go against the code of why we come here. So I'm having a soul level conversation right now with myself, with my father, who's dead on the other side, with the ancestor, basically. And this understanding of how we really function, right? So one of the things that, like, how we really function and how we are made to function, and we just are deeply out of alignment with how we're made to function. We're deeply disconnected from our way of functioning, right? And I've been talking, and this is why I do the classes and the moon classes and all that sort of stuff, to help us get back to who we really are. And the thing is that who you really are is inside of you. Even though they've tricked us and trained us to think in all sorts of ways that don't make sense, trained us to adapt to a reality that is harmful for us, the truth of who we are is in us. It cannot be taken away from you. It's in you, right? There's this song Liz Wright has, and she goes, it's called "You Can't Take the Salt from the Stew." It's like, how can you lose your song? And that's the truth. Your song is in you. I don't care how many generations of slavery or torture or lifetimes. The energy that you are is there. It cannot be taken. And so I am in the process of contending with that within myself. Like, how willing am I to be completely devoted to my authentic way of being inside of a system that says people who live authentically are crazy, outlaws, like people who go against the system are problematic. And what I'm coming to realize about myself as I really begin to question everything in my life. And it's really interesting, right? Because when I question everything, I'm really clear that had I been able to move up the ladder of success politically, had I been able to meet a man where I fell in love, and I would have done the things. I would have done those things. I would have likely done them and realized that they weren't for me, but I didn't do them because I failed at doing them. Now, it just so happens that I failed at doing it because that's not how I'm meant to function. But I understand why people are functioning that way, because it's what we've been told to adhere to. We've been told this is the way. Deny your differences, deny your uniqueness, put the things about you that you put it away. We've been told that none of it is right. So I tried to put it away, but couldn't. I tried to assimilate. I just couldn't do it. I failed at doing it. But many people haven't failed at doing it. Many people have succeeded at putting themselves away. And now we're being asked to be authentic. So we have to undo those patterns, and you have to really undo them. And for me, it's a little bit mind-numbing. Like, I feel extraordinarily restless. My father has been with me for the last 2 days. This morning I got up and went on Ancestry.com and I never had before. But I was like, let me just go see what's going on, right? What the fuck? Go on there, find my parents' marriage license. I'd never seen that. They got married on February 4th, 1969. I'd never seen that before. Found my parents' marriage license. Found a picture of my father from high school. I really, and I'm aware, as I'm seeing all these things, I'm so aware of how we have tried to align ourselves to the indoctrinated ways of being. And that's not who we are. That's not who, I've never been this, and who I really am. Gosh, who I really am is a soul that came here at this time on the planet to help people wake up. That's who I am. I came here to assist the awakening. I didn't come here to be successful in the old world. I came here to destroy the old world. I did. So that's why I've not been able to be successful in that old way of being, because I'm here as a destroyer of that. I'm here to bring destruction to that old way of being. And thank you, Rob. I'm so grateful for it too. I am so grateful for it too. So I'm here as a destroyer of the old way and a creator of the new. And the process of delineation to get to that, to realize, oh, I'm not here to be somebody's pretty wife. I'm not here to be somebody's mother who's the best mother in the world. I'm not here to be, I'm not here for none of that shit. I am here to bring destruction to the old way of being and open up the dimensions into the new. That's what I am here for. That's what I'm here to use my power for. That's all that my life is about. Everything else is serving that in some way. Everything else is serving that in some way. And I've always been up to that. When I was 3 years old, I was reading history books and poems, and Spirit was putting things in my head to help me see what system I was in. Where are you? So you can understand what's your mission. What are you here to do? And, I understood that as a young child. And then I forgot it because I didn't fit in anywhere I went. It was just hard to belong. So the need to fit in, the need to belong is a very pronounced thing. And as I've been doing this work with the Saturn retrograde class, what I've discovered is I was never in an environment where people took care of me or cooked for me, or I've been doing this shit for myself all along. And not to say that I haven't had help. I have had help. I have had support. I've had loving people in my life who have totally shown up for me and been with me. I have loving people in my life now. But what I'm saying is, when I was a child, I didn't have those early mechanisms of bonding that would have me rely on others. I didn't have that as a child. I have always been up to this. I've always been like here for the fight, here for the rebellion. Here, I've always been that. I've always been it. And conformity has never been something that I could even, and I tried to conform. I was like, let me see what's wrong with me. I felt like something was wrong with me because I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And what I know is that I've always believed in magic. I've always believed that we're powerful. I've always believed that we could do all these incredible things, and that the information that we have been given was not aligned with what I was feeling. Yes, you cannot conform. I was always aware that what I was feeling wasn't true to what I was being taught. And so because of that, it created a real conflict inside of me, a real divide, because I was like, there was a duality going on. I couldn't get it. Yes, they can't conform. That's right. That is why they're rebelling. So I am at a place today on this Saturn day where there's so much is happening, right? Saturn is about our karma. Like I told you, my father is with me. My father and I are born on the very same day, September 12th. He was born 1943, September 12th. I was born 1968, September 12th. So I have that energy with me. And I just came to the park. I was like, let me do a reading. What was my father like? Because he was so angry and so full of rage. I just did a reading. I was like, what was he really trying to do? And I did the reading. It's like he was trying to express his creativity. And then I looked at his natal chart, because I have his natal chart, and he had the North Node in Leo. Yes, he wanted to be himself. He wanted no parameters into what he could be. He wanted to be God. He wanted to be a king. And this world would not allow him to do that. It would not. It would not. And so I was born on the very same day that he was born in. And now I can feel that same energy that wants to express in the way that it wants to express. It doesn't want to be told this is what a woman should do and this is what black people should do. And this energy inside of me is free. It's big. It's mighty. It's eternal, right? And I'm like, wow, what do I do with it? How do I be with it? How do I be with it? And that's been the whole thing around this experience as a black person. It's like our energy has been so oppressed by the outside forces that we've not been able to use it in the way that we would if these outside forces weren't here. So that's a real thing. But as I have been studying this reality, and I understand it to the best of my ability so far, is that we created this reality. So we put these people in charge for the very thing that they are doing. That shit sounds so motherfucking crazy, but that's what I keep getting pointed back to. Because there are no mistakes in the universe, you guys. We think there are because of this programming, but there are no mistakes. Everything works together for good. Everything works. Everything. And when you get into a true mindset, when you understand truth, and that truth will be truth even if it is contorted 1,000 different ways. You can't hide truth from itself. It's just, if truth is what you're seeking, you're going to be able to find truth even in the most hidden, darkest places, because you have to become a signal for truth, and it's going to come to you. It is. It's just how it works. Like Thor with that amulet. Thor puts out his hand, and because he's worthy, because he's worthy, he puts out his arm and his weapon just swing because he's worthy. And that's how truth is, right? That's how truth is. It will find you if you're looking for it. I don't care where you are. So, as I do the cosmological study, the dominant force here is blackness, y'all. The dominant force here is dark matter. That's the dominant force. The humans that are more in alignment with that than any other are black people. And we are in an evolutionary period in this system. And I agreed. I'm not going to say we agreed because I don't want to speak for nobody else. But I agreed to come back into this dimension for the purpose of the pressure to evolve myself into my purest form of power so that I could use it to create the new reality. That's what I agreed to. That shit sounds so crazy, right? But that's what I agreed to. I'm really clear. That's why I lived. I'm really clear. That's why I didn't get shot growing up how I grew up. That's why I didn't do all these things, because I was here for this. I was here for this. So I didn't go to jail, all this sort of stuff. I'm really clear because all those things almost happened. All those things almost happened several times. But they didn't, for a reason. For a reason. And I needed to see the human condition. I needed to profoundly witness the human condition. And the best place to witness the human condition in this country is with black people. We carry the shadow of this country. Black Americans who are descendants of those who built this country. We built this country. Why? Because we have the power to do it. And the people who were the oppressors agreed to assist us in this thing. But you come back and you go to sleep. The universe is programmed in a certain way. We're programmed according to the planetary aspects, you guys. This shit is so interesting. But we're programmed. We really are just vessels to whatever the universe is doing. We are. And it's not about the stories that we're telling, ever. It's not. The story we're telling about something is not at all what something is about. It's the energy. It's the energy within it that is what it's about, right? Things can look one way, but at the core, they're completely different, right? So, you look at a slave and you think, oh, that slave is in a horrible situation. But then you understand, you go to the core of it and you're like, oh, that slave, that person known as a slave has so much power, they can endure something that other humans could never endure. Oh, that changes it just a little bit, right? It's like, when we understand that, as I've been looking, I'm like, people in oppressive experiences, people who are in situations that are deeply challenging, they're there because the energy, it's not about the human story that you're telling about it. It's about the energy within it. And sometimes, like one of the things that I've learned about myself, I need to live on the edge. I cannot live in comfort. I cannot. It just, not too much. I have to have a place in my life where I am on the edge and there is some sort of risk involved. If I don't have that, I don't feel alive. I'm clear about it. Now, that could look like a woman getting her ass kicked. That could look like a woman who, that could look like all sorts of things. But I have come to learn and understand my energy so that I know how it functions, so that I can then say, okay, you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. You can create that experience of being on the edge in this other area of your life, because that is a part of how you function. And so as we really get to know ourselves, yes, we are. We are the blue people in Avatar. Absolutely. As we get to know who we are and how our energy functions, we have to then begin to ask, because the sun is in Leo, what is my most creative way of expressing this energy? It's power. It's power is what it is. What is my most divinely aligned way? And because Saturn is in opposition to Aquarius right now, you're here to figure it out, but you're not going to probably use it just yet, because Saturn is oppressive, and Saturn is going to say, figure it out, perfect it, See what it does. How does it look? Why? Look at it from every side. Practice, practice, practice. That's Saturn. So we're here for this month to really come home to ourselves. Come home to our uniqueness. Leo is the ego. It's the one sign that's given permission to function in the ego because it's the thing that makes you unique. What is it that makes you, there's a thing that you are uniquely doing that nobody else can do. And it's one thing that's really important that I have figured out in this. Everybody has value. Everybody's necessary, right? Your pinky is so necessary to your everyday experiences. It's not the same as your brain. Like, you'll die without your brain. You won't die without your pinky, but your life will be harder without your pinky. You know that, right? So it's really understanding the uniqueness of how we express. What is it that makes you you? What is it why are you not the person next to you? Why are you not your sibling? Why are you you? What makes you you? And that is what we're working on this month. That is it. That is it. And that has everything to do with your lineage. It has everything to do with your ancestry. It has everything to do with the environment you grew up in. It has everything, because everything has been created perfectly for you to evolve into who you are meant to be. Everything. And if you start paying attention, you will see it. You will see the story lift up, and you're like, oh, your own personal hero's journey. So, all right, y'all. The moon today is in Gemini. And so the Gemini energy is, what story are you telling? What story are you telling? And about you, about your oh, look at y'all. Oh my God, these crows. It's like, so many crows are just flying over. Okay, I wanted to see if I could show y'all, but I can't. But what story are you telling about yourself? And yeah, so I am personally doing my best to sit as still as I can right now. It's not easy at all. I have so much energy coursing through me, so much power, and I want to use it. I literally am like, okay, let's go. And Spirit is like, no, just feel what your energy feels like. Just be with your energy. What do you feel like? And what I can see is, in the past, anytime I would feel this energy, I would turn it into like, oh, I need a lover, or I need to be married. I would make it be about somebody else because it's so strong inside of me. And I hadn't been trained to hold my own energy, to hold my own power. Most of us as women haven't been. We've been told that whatever it is that we have within ourselves really belongs to somebody else. That's just how we've been conditioned. It's about him. It's about, children. And now I'm like, okay, how can I be with my energy, and what do I want to do with it? I'm extraordinarily uncomfortable. Like, nothing feels right now. Like, food is just, okay. I've been really just practicing being with myself. Yeah, it is. We've been made to believe that everything is about somebody else. Everything, and all of it is, right? And that's such an interesting perspective when we birth reality. Every human being comes from us. So if we can't get to know us when every human being comes from us, that's really saying something. But it's a program to have us focused out there and not on ourselves. Because if we're not focused on ourselves, then we can't cultivate that power that is within us, that makes people, that puts people, that grows people in our bodies. We can't cultivate that if we're focused externally. So that is really it. There's so much happening right now. We have such an incredible opportunity to really transform. The sun in Leo is all about your creative self-expression and the story you tell about it. So I suggest that you guys play, like really allow yourself to play, allow yourself to have fun. Yesterday I was watching Peter Pan, I was watching Never Never Land, just understanding like how they took our childhood from us. I grew up I'm Generation X, right? So I have literally been cooking for myself since I was 3 years old, y'all. Since I was 3 years old. And which is probably why I'm not really a food person, because it was too much to consider. It was like at a young age, I was like thinking about what I want to eat, and I was a picky eater and all that kind of stuff. And so I stopped playing a long time ago. I became really serious a long time ago. And so now, this month, I'm like, how can I play more? How can I allow myself to be in the spirit of playfulness and open-heartedness and generosity and all of that? Like, I have really created a life where I got myself. And I'm not saying that I don't have people I have people in my life who really support me. I really do. Like my son's father, he's got our son. And so, but I am very self-sufficient, and I am right. And so I'm like, how can I be more playful? How can I do that? So there's still space. We have 2 more days before I'm going to close the new moon in Leo, full moon in Aquarius energy. If you want to do some work on opening your heart and forgiveness and accessing your true self, your creative portals, if you're ready to do some work on that, you can register today, or tomorrow's the last day. We're going to be doing the rituals to really harness our creative power, our profound, unique essence, like who we are that nobody else can offer us. And so the class is $111 for the month, and you get me every day. You get the coaching from me, and you get the rituals. And we have 3 live rituals together where we come together on the new moon, the full moon, and the first quarter moon to set the energy. And yeah, and we have all the rituals. So, all right, y'all. Peace and blessings. I love you so very much. Have a really beautiful day. Bye-bye.